Alright, I'm alive. Nothing quite like the thrill of running slightly late to my own stream. Okay. So, pardon me while I use this time very wisely to get everything ready. Or at least just enough ready. You know, I think I'm gonna have everything really quickly set up. That's nice. Testing. Okay. Alright. Oh, what am I missing? I know I'm missing something. Okay. How much time do I have? Wow, a whole minute. Okay. You know, I think I'm getting really good at this last minute setup thing. Alright, let's see if I could do a little advertising. Probably gonna botch it. Am I getting close to time? Yes, I am. Wow. Oh, I'm live. Okay, here we are. Hi there. Oh, I forgot to put my spiel on the chat. I guess now if I'm this time. Does the text go through? Yes, okay. First one works. This one might... I'm gonna try. Wow! Hey! Look at all that! Okay. And then... is this right? Enter? Okay. Alright, so I think the issue last time is that if I put a message with spaces in it, then it doesn't show the thing. That's... Okay, so, to anyone here, hello, welcome. As I said in the message, it's not just for show. If anyone wants tutoring for summer school, hopefully math, just say so, and I'll do what I can to help. And maybe we can get into a lesson here. But until then, it's summer. Let's have fun. Let's play games. And so this is a pretty cool game where you get to, well, type. That's cool to me. Alright. So let me just finish getting a little bit of something ready in the background, and then I should be good to go. So I'm just going to be pressing a few buttons, don't mind me. I think that's right. I wonder, does my mouse show what I'm doing? No. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Almost ready to start typing. Just bear with me a moment. There it is. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm ready. So, this browser. Also, if there's any lag, please let me know. I'm running a bunch of extra. So hopefully that's not causing any issues. But yeah, today's stream will be on Type Racer. So getting to type while talking and typing sometimes, unless I want to focus. I think I'm going to focus on this first race just to kind of practice typing everything properly. Oh, I know this song. I think it's called Thriller, right? And as I type, I'm going to try very carefully to not make any typing mistakes. Now, of course, I'm not totally focused. I'm still talking while typing, which is kind of the fun. Oh, I typed in a T. Okay. Well, I guess I could just go fast now. For your life. Inside a killer thriller tonight. I could win. I could press the button, but I'll try to aim for 3rd place. Ah, there we go. So, also to anyone joining, you might notice that when it comes to Type Racer, I'm not taking it very seriously. I'm not really trying to get like 100-something words per minute or trying to be in 1st place even. This is kind of more just like casual typing, talking about typing. If anyone has questions about typing, or maybe how to talk while typing, I think that'd be fun. Because when it comes to, and I say this, I think, the past couple times, so pardon me if you've been here before and you hear it again, but again, typing's a bit like a muscle memory. So once you get kind of decent at it, you don't really have to think. You just kind of do it. Just kind of look at the words. But it does make you slow. As you can see, I'm under 40 words per minute. Which is not very good for me. Now, if you are someone who's typing or learning to type, do not feel bad about getting whatever number you have, right? Whether it's super fast or super slow, that's okay, because it's a skill, which means you can always get better. Now, as to how to get better for typing, don't do what I'm doing. Don't talk while typing. That is a terrible way to learn how to get better while typing. Oopsie daisy. Wait, what is this? How to get any man to do anything you want. The odds are that you'll generally meet the worst of them. The reason that men have something going for their lives, many passionately are usually too busy living their dreams to hang out, trying for chicks. Huh. Okay, so also sometimes when I'm doing this type racing stream, I like to kind of reflect on the passages or the words or the whatever it is they're talking about. It could be something interesting, it could be something crazy. Basically, it looks like this is a very silly way to say that if someone has a lot of passion and they're busy doing stuff, sometimes they're so busy doing the thing that they might be too busy to fit someone else in their life. I think? Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like, for example, if I'm here busy typing, right, then I can't exactly be tutoring, at least not right now. Oh, someone with a name. Hold on. I want to try to race against him. Hello. Ooh. Okay. Hi Oblivion the Clown. What's some good stuff programming-oriented math? I am a dumbass. Alright. Well, hello Oblivion. Programming-oriented math. Sure. So, here's the thing. Which program and to what purpose? And how do you want to learn? And I say, oh, I should probably be typing. I'll wait. Doesn't matter. So, like, for example, there's different programming languages, like Java and C++, and a few other ones, it's like Python. And then when it comes to the purpose, like, is it just for... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Programming-oriented math. Well, there's statistics math, which has its own programs. Are you talking about that? Sorry, I'm thinking, like, programming, like, actual programming languages. I don't know if you mean, like, an actual, like, software or program that you would use for math, like graphing parabolas or statistics. That's something different. So kind of knowing to what end you mean, like what is it for and how you want to use it, I think that'd be very helpful for me to kind of give you some pointers on that. So yeah, any extra info would help. But yeah, I don't feel like a dumbass, right? I'm misunderstanding your question. RPG Maker. Well, first of all, congratulations. Don't give up on your dreams. It's a little tricky. But yeah, see, I assume that for most languages, the math was the same. I wanted to make video games on RPG Maker, so I'm reaching for the skies. Okay. RPG Maker, I haven't used in a long time, so I forgot the exact programming language, but and here I'm gonna switch screens just for you. Let's see, let me check it out. RPG Maker. So that is a great goal to make games. Good stuff. Now that is one of many programs to make games, right? As I understand, it's a bit complex. It's hard. It's easier than something like Unity, if you're talking about a program for making games. That's for sure. But it is harder than other options. So one that I would recommend is called Scratch. Now Scratch, if you look, or Scratch MIT, I think it's called. Now Scratch MIT, what that is that is a thing, and I'm gonna see if I could look it up. Hold on. Let me try to get a screenshot for you. Alright, let me see if I could actually pull up the program. So specifically what Scratch is that it's a program that lets you not only play games, but kind of look into the data of how these games are made. So say, for example, if you see someone else that made a game, right? Let me just load some random thing. Okay. Now, I'm kind of not prepared to share my screen properly, so I'm going to be taking some screenshots, right? So here's a game that someone made on Scratch. And please bear with me while I try to sort out these technical difficulties. It's a Running Man game, and this is something that... like this, right? And you could press play. It has things with sprites that you can use, and it has a programming language in it. And the way that they do it is that it's kind of shareware, where in that it's free. You could download the program, you could go on the website, and you could see other games that people made and play them. But not only that, the cool thing is that you get to look at the code for it too. So let's see if I could find the code. I think I downloaded a corrupted version of this game. Uh-oh. Yeah, I did. Let's see. Alright. Pardon me while I try to find a game that actually works. I think it's called Blob Simulator. Does this one work? Yeah. I'm gonna show you something that's going to look a little messy, right? Now, proper coding, like with Java and text documents and stuff like that, is a little hard. And, like... oh, sorry, I muted myself. I forgot I have my mute button set to control. My bad. Alright, so what Scratch does is it allows something called block coding. And it's a little fuzzy right here, but basically it kind of has pictures and visuals about if-when statements and how to loop things, and it also has tutorials on how to use these to kind of make very simple games, right? Something where you kind of move a sprite around, use the WASD keys and stuff like that. And it can kind of give you an idea of kind of a generic, simple programming language, as well as a strong visual that you can associate with it. And then it lets you be able to make something like a sample game. Now this is very fuzzy, is very messy, right? This is actually a simulator for a game where you would have these little blobs that move around. And it's not something that you play, it's more like a simulation where, like, you know, if there's so many prey, so many predators, and they move in an area, and the prey needs to eat food, and the predators need to eat the prey, and how do populations stabilize, and how do they kind of change and stuff. A little bit complicated. But again, I didn't make this. Someone else did. What I did is I was able to find what they made, and then look at the code and kind of understand, delete things, take things out, mess with it, press play on the game, see how they change, and kind of understand why it's there and what it does. And so by giving you this kind of very basic understanding of if-when statements, loops, nested coding, and all this kind of stuff, how to assign values, and how to have sprites change, as you... Then I think this Scratch program and the website is, again, it's free. You're going to see a lot of little kid stuff, but that is totally fine, because that's where everyone starts, right? Everyone starts learning on how to make a basic, like, you know, move a sprite around to collect things kind of game. And then from here you can kind of make things on your own. Now what this does is that it can translate into making a more proper and playable game. In fact, as you could probably see here, someone made a Chrome dinosaur clone where you can actually play that on Scratch, and you can kind of see the code behind it on how does that move, how do you have sprites scrolling across the screen, as well as, you know, how to make a game over screen and stuff like that. And by kind of not only playing, but also like looking in the back end, right, peeking behind the curtain to kind of see how these games are made, then you can get some really good pointers. Now again, if you are playing Scratch, you learn how to make Scratch, right? So it can only go so far. After you've done this enough where you feel like you've learned, or you kind of have a good idea of how these how coding works as a, you know, I do this on the back end, this happens on the front end, this is how I get music, this is how I apply sound effects, this is how I get these little guys moving. Then you would move up onto the next level, which I feel like would probably be RPG Maker. Now RPG Maker, if I recall, is a little bit messier, and I'll see if I can bring it up. And by messy, I mean that it's not some kind of clear back-end coding. No, do I have it? I should have it. RPG Maker. I do, but I have to download it. Ah. Okay. Let me see if I can find some screenshots. Anyways, RPG Maker is more something like a level editor or a map editor, something that you used to find in these older games like Warcraft 3. Or what I've been recently messing with is Octodad. Octodad's a very silly game, but it has a level and map editor that you can kind of use. Let's see, RPG Maker screenshots. I'm just going to Google something and kind of bring it up so then we can kind of look at it together. Okay. So just like how with Scratch, you don't actually have to type the code out. You can kind of click and drag those blocks to kind of put them in their place to make the code, right? It's kind of click and drag. Everything's kind of preset and made for you. RPG Maker is in a pretty similar fashion, where... yeah. Well, I mean, RPG Maker is a little complicated too, but I mean, it's less complicated than something like Unity, or well, what's the one that Epic uses? I forget. The Epic Games Engine, something. But yeah, that's a lot more complicated tools, right? But with RPG Maker, yeah, you could go for it because, again, just like with Scratch, where you can click and drag stuff, you can click and drag here as an example of something like sprites. Now this is an older screenshot, might not be the same RPG Maker version that you use. In fact, I think if you ever play a game called World of Goo, World of Goo 2, and that level editor, it's a bit more like that, where you can kind of click and drag sprites, and then you kind of have an idea of how these things work together. Now it looks like those are, was it game tiles? Sorry, the visual is very bad. But basically, it is a simpler program. I totally recommend it, but I also recommend kind of checking out back-end stuff when you can. Oh, I think this is a much newer screenshot? No. Now, pardon me, I'm venturing out into a little bit of what I'm unfamiliar with. I haven't used RPG Maker in years. So it is, okay, here we go. This might be something interesting. Now, unlike Scratch, where it's actually like coding, again, RPG Maker is more like click and drag for this pace. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so again, you don't really need to know math per se, right? Unless you're going to be doing like crazy numbers and you want to break the game and you do like overflow values and things to crash. Like if you're doing something crazy like doing agility times like 1,000 million %, then yeah, I mean you should just probably know enough math to like not do that. It's not something like where you have to kind of know like formulas too much. Isometric game. Imagine. Ooh, isometric. That's cool. Oh, is it a game that like I can play and check out? Like I'd love to see it. But again, it's only if you want to, right? If you don't want to share, that's totally fine. And if it's just a project to yourself, hey, more power to you. But that sounds cool. I'm always excited to check out like people's game projects and stuff. Let's see. Where was I? Am I sharing my screen properly? Yes, I am. Oh, the problem was the isometric part. Actually, it depends, right? Okay, so for isometric games, as I understand, especially for like older games, they're actually just like sprites that are just kind of tilted, if that makes sense. So say for example, if you have like a 2D game, right? Like a platformer. Think of something like Kirby or Mario. You have your character that's like this. There's the ground, there's the wall, and they jump up like that, right? Cool. And then for, let's say, an isometric game, right, it's not necessarily like a... I don't know of any isometric platformers, really. Maybe... yeah, I don't know. Maybe Crash Bandicoot. But if you're using 2D models, all you have to do is kind of draw them a little weird. So, like, let's say you have your character's eyes here, and the platform looks like as if it's cut in half on a slice, and you have the ground like this, right? That's like kind of a 2D side-scroller view. For isometric, you would still use sprites the same way, except that instead of like... It's kind of like you have to learn how to draw like an optical illusion, right? So if I draw like a... So let's see, something like... I'm trying to think of a game. Okay. Like here's the platform that looks like this. Right? And then you have your... This part at the dotted line is actually where they interact and stand on the platform. And then this part above the dotted... So this part right here is where they actually stand. And this part above the platform is actually part of the background. Right? And then you would still have your character kind of jump and stand on it. And then for your character, instead of drawing like their face sideways, they kind of draw them like looking down. Like that. With like maybe feet. Let me not do that. And then for like the ground, you could kind of have it again like this, where they're on like a platform. And it's still the same thing, right? It's still the exact same process. It's just that the sprites are going to look a little weird, wherein that you're going to have some of it in they actually stand and interact with, and then some of it in the background. And they can kind of jump on that like that. So it's still the same kind of program, it's the same kind of process. But for isometric 2D, right? It's kind of an optical illusion. You just gotta like add a little bit extra to everything. So it kind of looks more like that. A good example of a game like this, I think, would be something like Golden Sun. A bit of an older game. And I'll see if I can get a screenshot. Have you ever tried or seen Mega Man Battle? Ooh, I have not tried or seen it, but you know what? I'm gonna look it up right now. That sounds cool. Mega Man Battle Network. Hold on. Mega Man Battle Network. Oh, okay. You know what? I have not seen this before, but yes, it's that looks like the stuff. Your inspiration and holy grail. Ah, okay. That is a very cool thing to aim for. That is awesome. I'm gonna see if I can get this screenshot up so then everyone else that's here can check it out too. Alright, here we go. Not gonna lie, this looks super polished. This looks really clean. Alright, so just like how I was pointing out earlier, if you kind of break this down, it looks like a nice clean sprites like this, right? Where everything is isometric. However, you know, as a practice, you would still have the sprite model standing on part of the platform that's here. You'd have a sprite that's shooting out. Oh, actually, sorry, black doesn't really show. What about green? Sure. Yeah, here we go. So then you just have like a sprite that's like weirdly broken up and chopped up. Then you'd have this thing coming out. And again, with these, with this kind of sprite work, it's actually really, really detailed. And I'm gonna see if I could find a sprite sheet for this, just so we can kind of get a better idea. Yeah. Well, this is old Mega Man. But it kind of works. Okay. So, it's one thing to do the programming. It's one thing to do the tile work. It's another thing to do sprite. Now, the cool thing about video games is that they're fun. The hard thing is that they're kind of multidisciplinary, right? So, what you came first asking is for the coding part. But if you're going to use something like RPG Maker, it's not really so much coding, it's more like kind of clicking and dragging. And so then what you really want to kind of look towards is something like the sprite work and then also the tile setting. And so for sprite work, it's kind of something like this, where like almost like animation frames, where how do you kind of break down the animation of a character into pieces, and then over a set time of per action, like maybe there'd be certain frames that would change. Instead of actually being like a projectile that comes out in a separate, it's actually part of the character itself, and just kind of shows and pops up. It kind of looks similar. Yeah, it looks very similar. This might be it. Yeah, and so you'd have something like this, but then not only would it be for the characters, it would also be for the tiles as well, right? What does the tile look like when it's broken? What does it look like when it's shiny? And then also have it so that way your characters doesn't stand on the tile, because then you might end up with a weird thing where, can I do this? No. Alright. You might have a weird thing where you have your Mega Man character, instead of with the layering, having their kind of body on the tile like this. If you do it incorrectly, you might have them standing on a tile like that. So just be mindful as you work on it to kind of like have things mushed in half, or like have the tiles cut in half. Another thing would be, let's see. By the way, these are great questions, and again, awesome game to aspire to. Just keep in mind that there's like a lot of people working on it. Yeah, the coordinate parts. That's what killed me when I tried it with Lua. Oh! Lua. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't done Lua programming. But I think that's okay. Because I think a lot of these things still apply, because you know what I'm talking about. And that the coordinates are kind of messed up and wonky. Yeah. Again, for my advice would be, for any kind of art asset, just feel free to break it into like smaller pieces. So again, the stage is not one big piece, the tiles are each a piece. And even the tiles are not probably a whole piece, they're probably like chunks, right? Probably doesn't even look like this. In the back end, it probably looks something like this. My age 20 years for each. Oh my goodness. Yeah, oh no. Okay, well, you know what? For programming like that, which you actually were going back to what I was saying in the beginning, actual programming languages. Oh boy. Yeah, I would start if you've taken programming classes before, cool. But if you haven't and you don't know what you're doing and you're barely starting and you're going off YouTube tutorials, just pause, pump the brakes, go back to scratch. Whoops. Again, this will kind of give you an idea of general programming concepts and make it kind of easy and block programming. It won't be exactly the polish of the game you're looking for, but it will get you started on how to use these things that will translate into those languages. And then also get you more quick results, right? It's one thing to kind of do a hard programming language and then get like discouraged because you can't get the sprite to line up, you don't even have a functioning game. Whereas with something like, you know, this, you can get a little, you know, not very good, but something working, and then you can kind of build from there. You can kind of gain the confidence, all right, let me expand this a bit more, and then, all right, now let me see how this works onto this other language. What principles still apply to this or that? And again, it's kind of like, how do I put it? It's starting off very basic, right? Like, even if you think about, like, drawing, and I'm using an analogy here. If you want to draw cool art like this, right? Programming is kind of like how to do like a realistic muscle work and like line work. But here you just want to learn how to do like shapes and shadows and just kind of real basic stuff. If you kind of get that analogy. So with this kind of more simple programming, it's more like the shapes and the shadows and how to kind of get things to kind of look 3D, how to do you know, some really basic art stuff, basic programming stuff. Something like RPG Maker is where you can kind of click and drag, but that also kind of gets you more familiar with not so much the programming, but just how to get things together and working as pieces. And if you want to work on more complex, more independent programming, I would actually recommend checking out a guy who is also a Twitch streamer, and you know what? He streams coding. Let me see if I can get his name real quick. I think it's something like LNQO colon something. Give me one moment to look him up. Really cool guy. Ah, here we go. Alright, so I don't know exactly what language he's using for programming, right? But what he does, and this guy, very cool. What he does is he does game programming on his stream. He talks about programming, and I'm not sure if he does more like helping other people with their stuff, or he's just kind of doing his own thing, but I did hear he's doing a kind of a game jam. And so even if you can't participate in it, I think just kind of checking that out, looking at what they do, and seeing if you can kind of see how they make the back end, especially because what he literally does is stream the back end stuff on programming, is very, very neat. I highly recommend it. In fact, I think last I saw he was actually working on an isometric game as well. Let me double check though. It's been a while since I checked out his stream. And again, it's not to say that I can't help you. It's just to say that this guy and what I've seen him do is more better suited to exactly what you might be looking for, I think. Yeah. No, yeah, of course. If you have any like math questions, like I usually like to do algebra. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm trying to stick to something that's like interactive. But yes, that would be a cool idea, and something I'll keep in my back pocket if I ever actually get to making it like a proper game. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking him out. You could tell him I sent you, and that he's a cool guy. But yeah, if you need help with math stuff, what I generally like to do is kind of like high school and college algebra because it's easy. But I mean, if you need help with calculus and derivatives, I can try. It's been a while, I'll be honest. So you'll have to kind of walk me through a bit, but I can try to help because I'm still tutoring. But yeah, again, I hope all this helps. I hope this kind of gives you some advice, some programs to explore, a streamer to check out, and a whole bunch of things to look at. Because it's a big world out there, and there's a lot of cool things happening. And this is, I mean, if you aren't raging on nonsensical math problems, is it really a math stream? Ah, okay, well here's the thing. I like to tutor math, and it's different from other guys who do math. So I know that there's other, I don't know, I guess content creators? Guys who'd say like, oh hey, look at this, like, this silly math thing, where like, oh you have a circle, and here's like 1, and then you have like a circle, and then it's like, I don't know, they do some weird thing with the squares, like that, where the area is like the same. I forget, I'm drawing it very badly. But basically, I've seen what other people do is like, they would kind of explore these interesting, cool math concepts, break it down how they work or how they don't work. I don't want to do that. I want to tutor. I want to look at the person who's looking at their like a quadratic formula or Pythagorean theorem and just like, I don't know what this is or why I'm doing it. And then I'll just help them out on stream. It's a little easier that way. So that's kind of what I'm aiming to do. It's actually like Vtutoring. But yes, on the school year, what I usually do is I go over different equations. I think I mostly went over like functions this past year and kind of break them down as to lessons and kind of go over that way. Something that I actually go over with school and see how that can apply. Like, say, for example, if someone's doing like, I don't know, coordinates on a function on an XY graph, and how to do it, but also like how they can apply it to their life. Like if they're trying to read a map on a video game screen, I think like Final Fantasy, right? They'd have like coordinates, and it'd basically be XY coordinates on where to go when you move your mouse over someplace. So just to not so that, okay, hey, this is useless math you gotta do, but more like this is how you can apply it to like things you might enjoy, like in games. So that's what I try to do. But because it's the school is out and it's the summer, that's why I was doing Type Racer, because it's a game. But it's a game in which it's similar to what I'm trying to cover, which is where it's interactive, right? Because here tutoring would be like, hey, you could actually join me on my stream and get like live one-on-one tutoring. You could take screenshots of your homework, put on here, and we work on it. Actually, I think there's a guy that actually helped that way. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Took a screenshot of his homework, and then we both worked on it and kind of drew on it on his touch screen and on my end, and it worked out pretty nicely. So there's that. And so to kind of keep the, would that be okay? I mean, that could be a fun collab. Yeah, no. Again, oh, like you would want to collab like on making a game live and share your screen and stuff? Sure. Yeah, why not? I'm down for it. Now, whether I'll actually know what I'm talking about, that's a bit of a different story. I'll have to brush up on some things. But yes, I would be down. Now, for L:Q, I think he's a bit more advanced and has his own program that he's working on. So I don't know if I could collab with him. But, I mean, I guess I could ask. Why not? But yeah, again, if you ever want to, and again, that's why I choose Type Racer as the game. So that way, if anyone wants to actually join and type against me on Type Racer, we can do that. It can be fun. I try to keep this interactive, you know? And cater to whoever shows up on my chat. But yes, if you want to check out RPG Maker and kind of work through it together, and figure that out and see how you can apply it and make your Mega Man dream a bit closer to reality, I'm down, 100%. Now, I will say that my availability is a bit limited. Usually for Tuesdays at this time. Oh, I meant me sending you math problems. Okay, yes. No. You can absolutely send me math problems too. That's what I do. That is my thing. That is my shtick. Yes, you could send me math problems. I know someone asked me to go over long division for them, and I just kind of did that as a stream just for them, and I had it as an archive, and that helped them out. If you want to come on stream and talk about math problems that you have for homework, summer school, regular school, yeah, let's do it. We could totally do it. Again, I've been helping people out with that for a while now, so I'm down. Game collab, yes, I'm down for that too because it's the summer. And I don't know if you have school, but I try to prioritize school stuff because you know, games are fun, but like you know, you gotta pass school, schoolwork. But yeah, again, I welcome all of it. And if you want to reach out, you could send me messages here. You could send me DMs on Twitch. I also have an X account and Instagram and a YouTube. Whatever you're comfortable with, right? You don't feel pressured to send stuff, but if you want to send just like a DM and say, hey, can you work on this type of math formula? Then I will do that one of these weeks on live stream. You could join in chat, or you could just, I'll put up a VOD so you can check it out later. Whatever works for you. It's fine. We're here to have fun and learn together. Or, you know, you learn and then I kind of mess up explaining the lesson. And you learn how not to do it. Because that's part of it too, right? Like some of the long division stuff I did was very silly. Nice, nice. Ah, yeah, that's right. The World Cup soccer. Oh boy. Well, hey, good luck. I hope yours is not one of the countries that sets things on fire when they lose and also sets things on fire when they win too. I know how that is. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, no, I remember that happening where I live with a certain sports team. And yeah, it was just like a night with the friends. And then we're watching the news because one of my friends was a fan of that sport. He's like, oh, hey, let's see what's going on downtown. And then, you know, there didn't look to be anything. He's like, oh, yeah, it seems pretty peaceful. And then we see like a bunch of flipped over cars and like tires on fire. And we're like, oh, yeah, that's what I expected. They won. Oh, well, at least the stores aren't broken in. So I guess we didn't lose. Oh, boy. But yes. Yeah, please send me any kind of math questions. Also, I guess if you have screenshots or something, you could send that too. If you have like links to math problems or just the name of it, that'd be very helpful. The more info you give me, the more tailored I can make the lesson, and the less like, you know, rambling and crazy it'd be where I'm just kind of touching everything that's related to it, kind of like I was doing here, right? But yeah, definitely hit me up. Anytime. And again, I regularly schedule streams every Tuesday at around this time. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the ASMR comment because that means that my voice is not crazy or grating. And I think the music helps too, really. But yeah, so for my regular scheduled streams, it's around this time for about an hour. Not very much, I know, but I'm trying to work my way up. And if you want to have like a... My voice sounds so pleasant. What are you on about? Aw, you flatter me. I mean, my voice is my voice, right? I don't know how pleasant it sounds. It's just the one that I use. Oh, well. But thank you. Appreciate the compliment. Your typing is pleasant as well. Oh yeah, so I was saying, for my schedule, and I'm gonna have to make a kind of a blurb to kind of make it more clear. But yeah, it'd be every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then also on request, I can do things like weekends or other days around that time frame, but also on weekends I could do like hours. So if you really need help with like some homework stuff and be like, oh gosh, finals. You know, hopefully it'll be before then, so we can make like a time management plan on top of a lesson plan. But if it's like the weekend before finals, then I'll do what I can for hours. I'm down. Everyone's been there, so don't worry about it. As long as you're not like playing League of Legends at like 4 in the morning, 2 days before your test, you're fine. It'll be okay. Yeah. Oh shoot, that reminds me. How much time do I have left? I got 12 minutes. We're fine. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, so coding is very hard, and if you're starting just on the raw coding language, it's very difficult. Again, a coding program, a video game program like RPG Maker is much easier, especially easier than something more complex like Unreal. That's what I'm thinking of. The Unreal Engine. That's very hard too. And then If you want to, again, I would say if you really want to learn the back-end stuff, just start simple Scratch. You could look at other people's codes, and they make some really cool stuff. And don't forget, it's beyond just the coding, right? I see Unreal Engine of my nightmares. I know. That's there's a reason why people make games on like a large team using Unreal Engine. If it's just one guy, there's a lot that can be overwhelming because it isn't just this kind of plug and play programming, right? Plug and play programming, plug and play assets. That makes things a lot easier for someone making their vision on their own, right? I think who was it? Notch, the guy who made Minecraft. He's a very unique, one of a kind, because he was able to kind of do it on his own, but also took him like many years, many hours, and a lot of feedback too, because he used to have like a blog on his progress about the game he was making, and that kind of was what kept him going, as well as gave him feedback on what to do or any programming errors. He was able to just kind of reach out to community. So even if you do pursue this making your game on your own, don't feel bad about he's the guru, books tell you to seek. yeah basically, but also his process was to kind of publicize his progress, right? Just like how L:Q does it, where he's able to have people that know more bring up some really poignant questions and pointers, people that know less ask some very kind of key questions where he's like, oh yeah, I should probably add that, things like that. So if you really are serious about making a very cool game like this, maybe like a blog, publicize it, something so that people can look and share and comment on your progress as you go, not necessarily to like criticize, but more to kind of help along or inspire, or to kind of build you as you do it, or keep you focused. And that can go for any project, right? Yeah. That's kind of why I'm doing this, tutoring on stream, when people need it. Keeps me focused. Although now I'm talking about video games. Well. But yeah, if you have any other questions about hopefully math, but also anything else for the game stuff, yeah, just feel free to ask. Anytime. I'm here every week, except when I'm not. Which is very rare. I think maybe in about 1 or 2 weeks I might take a day off. Maybe. I don't know. Also, hey, if you wanna practice your typing, there's still that option open, because it's kind of a fun game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's you gotta chill. You gotta relax. And the way that I like to relax, and or at least on stream, right? There's so many things I could do, so many games, so many things, but I try to keep it interactive. And so Type Racer, being able to talk while typing, being able to kind of race against other people, or ramble on about random things, and kind of de-stress while also skills building is it's kind of nice. But I really, again, no pressure, right? But I really look forward to helping you with your math stuff, because I find that really fun. I mean, if it's easy math. If it's hard math, which it might be, then it'll be its own kind of fun, right? Not like, oh yeah, this is great, I can totally understand it. It's more like, let's learn together and see if we can sort this out. Because unfortunately, what can happen is that for things like math or any class, right? Maybe the way in which you have to do things is all different. Like, I remember one class, that was statistics, where the homework was different from the quizzes, was different from the reading, and was different from the lectures. Each thing was its own separate thing, and you had to kind of build them independently. There was like hardly any crossover. And yeah, it was difficult because the way that the class was structured was difficult, not necessarily the content itself. Oh, whoopsie daisy. So that can happen, right? And I remember I was helping someone with unit circles. And the problem wasn't so much that it was the math itself. It was trying to understand what the teacher was asking, because the way it was structured, the way that the questions were made, was very obtuse. And that's okay, right? Because if it's hard for that student, then it's probably hard for a lot of other people. And you shouldn't feel down about it. In fact, you shouldn't feel down for asking for help when it comes to any kind of homework, school, or math stuff. Because chances are, everyone's in the same boat, you know? Oh, whoopsie daisy. So yeah, that's a nice thing about tutoring. It's kind of being able to kind of translate. All right, what is the question actually asking? Now, of course, there's all kinds of people that are all different levels of kind of math and schoolwork, right? Because sometimes you get someone who's like an A student and they want to be an A+ student, right? So the only way you could help them is kind of coming up with more and more crazy and hard and weird questions that like combine old forgotten concepts into new things, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, I gotta do it this way. And that's its own kind of fun, right? Other times it's someone who's like completely lost, and you kind of need to help build them up from lessons past. But then, even so, right? Not all hope is lost. Like I had some VODs that talk about how to prep for finals and stuff like that, assuming that you don't know anything in the test, right? So like how to structure your time to study beforehand, how to do sleep management, how to skim and speed read a test before you kind of try to answer it, how to guess on multiple choice questions. Like there's all these kinds of strategies and little things you could do. You'll have to have the patience of a saint, because I'm a caveman who just discovered fire. Hey, that's great. You know what? Then I'll help you out and we could Oonga Boonga this thing together. That's totally fine. And yeah, I got patience. I got time. That's what I'm here for. But yeah. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, even if you say that you're a caveman, right? You don't know anything, and that's again totally fine. There's all these different kinds of strategies that can work with both kind of surviving schoolwork and making the most of it. You know, how to kind of average your way up. As always, generally my advice is first ask the teacher. That usually only works though if you're in a college level courses, when they have like things like office hours. Then ask your peers, ideally the smart kid. Not the one who's also struggling. But then if you have tutors, there's me. So I'm here to help you out too. Now let's see, what did I even type? Star? We go waiting for the stars to come showering down from Moscow to Mars. Is this a song? By Erasure. It is a song. That's a band. Universe falling down, you got to look real hard. There's a fire star hidden out there somewhere. Not the side I love. What a trippy lyric. Is it hopeful? I don't know. A fiery star hidden out there somewhere. That sounds cool. Yeah, all I know from them is that song, Always. Like, always I want to be with you. And I hear it from a certain game. A very fun game. Oh shoot, how much time do I have actually? Sorry to keep an eye on the clock. You know what? I have 2 minutes, but I can go a little over because I was a little late. So, meanwhile, again, if you have any questions, or if you want to schedule something, feel free to send a DM. Feel free to post a message. In fact, I think the long division thing was actually a comment on a YouTube video, or a short that I have. So I try to scour these things to see if anyone has anything that they want help with. So yeah, there's all that. Unfortunately, I do not have an email set up for business yet. And I'll have to get to that. Because even though I've technically been streaming for a while, since about August, the amount of time that I've streamed is only about like 40 hours, which is not that much. Some people do that in like a week. when they first premiere stream. Because a lot of the stuff I'm trying to do is more like back end to make sure everything's kind of put together, but I'm also doing it quite slowly. Alright. Do I want first place? Nah, I don't need it. I'm gonna aim for third. Come on, you guys got it. Oh, no, did they give up? Oh, they're right there. Come on. Oh, red's still going. Ah, there it is. Alright. Good stuff. Now this is the Analects by Confucius. In a hamlet of 10 households, there are bound to be those who are my equal in doing as best for others. Ah, so it's a phrase about learning. I guess it's a book about like wisdom and little bits of like learning. Maybe some like, well, yeah. I don't know. It's a book of advice, I guess. Very cool. Trying to say that he's the most eager to learn. And, you know, I hear that a lot. In fact, even for older people, I hear that some of them are going back to school so they can keep learning and stay sharp. Because I hear that a lot of elderly people are worried about things like dementia or like forgetting or having poor memory. So what they do is like little Facebook games for memorization, but also some of them actually go back to school so they can kind of keep their mind sharp. That's some good stuff. Now, of course, school isn't the only way to learn, right? There's self-teaching, like as you're doing, which is fantastic. Learning how to code, I'm assuming almost from scratch, for the sake of a game, which is a noble goal, but also very, very hard. And other things that people might want to learn, like new hobbies or new sports. Again, you might not think like, oh, you know, reading a book is very different from doing an exercise, but sometimes they can be the same, right? If you're learning how to like do proper form and oh gosh, and something like fencing, and then you read like old books on how to do it. It's technically both. You're learning, you're reading, and you're being active. Haiku. Little by little, what you begun will naturally become important to you. What you need at the start is a little bit of curiosity. Ah, what a lovely word of wisdom. Yeah, just trying to learn something and being curious about it will start the process of trying it, and then becoming better at it, and then making it a core part of your life. That's very true. You know what? That's kind of what happened with me in this video game stuff. The reason why I learned things like Scratch and RPG Maker and sprites and sound and all this kind of stuff and art was just a bit of curious from like modding, and then it became like programming, and then it became like, you know, looking at other people's games and breaking them and rebuilding them. Yeah, not exactly like making something on my own, but more just like how do I tailor make this thing. And now it's like, oh gosh, yeah, there's other stuff that I do, but that's fine. I think, yeah, now is a good time. Okay, so, how do I get this? Oblivion, hey, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. It's gonna sound dumb, but I don't know how to do a raid yet. I haven't figured out that setting or those buttons. So I'm sorry, I can't like redirect you to L:Q. I'm gonna try to do that really quick, but I don't know what I'm doing. Boy, buttons. Yeah, no, if I could figure this out, I would. Yeah. Oh, thank you for coming by. And yeah, definitely check him out, and I appreciate it. Again, I would send you to that raid. Aw, I thank you again. Yeah. And it's a blast to have you here. You really made this stream what it is. Thank you for coming by. Feel free to come by anytime. And it's fine. Everyone makes all kinds of noises. You're fine. Now you got me curious. Now you got me deeply curious as to what you sound like. Maybe we'll find out someday. But until then, I do have to go. and I hope you have a wonderful night. And I hope your hometown doesn't burn down from soccer. Alright, have a good one. Oh, I just figured out how to rate a channel. Alright, I'm gonna try it out. I don't know if anyone's still around, but it's like a literal button. Okay. I guess it takes like a minute to raid? I'm gonna press the button nowish. Be nice, everyone.